This happened a while ago. Me and my brother Ron were in my room watching football, screaming at the screen when our team would do something idiotic. We were about 40 minutes into the game. Ron slammed his fist into the remote, turning the television off by accident. I turned the TV back on, and as the screen loaded back up, we heard footsteps coming from downstairs. Ron and I quickly turned around.
Okay, guys, if you hear footsteps, do not investigate. Hide. Turn off the TV if you're watching something. Hide. Hide anywhere. Doesn't matter. Just hide in a good hiding spot. Guys, I'm getting frustrated. I'm getting scared, honestly.
Our heads to the bedroom door. I turned down the volume to hear the noises clearer. I think someone's inside, Ron said. I could hear the shudder in his voice. He was anxious. No, it's probably just the dog, I responded. Ron.
Okay, if you have a dog, then, it doesn't matter if you've got a dog. Just keep watching if you've got a dog.
However, was a lot more cautious. He walked over to the bedroom door and locked it. The click it made alerted the intruder. We heard even more footsteps. Ron then whispered, "That's not the dog." Ron, acting nervous, put me on edge, so I agreed with him and turned off the bedroom lights. Ron then looked around the room, trying to find some sort of object we could use as a weapon. I sat next to the door, with my ear placed on our wall. They were so thin that if there was someone inside the house, I would be able to hear them. Nothing happened at first. It was just dead silence. "Take a look," Ron said. He had his phone turned on in case we needed to call the police. I lay on my chest and looked through the gap under the bedroom door. I saw blackness, but I could barely make out a pair of boots standing a little ways down the upstairs hall. I felt both hands shaking as I pushed myself back up to my feet. I tiptoed over to Ron, who was
Alright guys, I'm pretty scared at this point.
waiting anxiously for the answer. "Someone's here," I whispered as low as I could. Ron's face went pale as he stared into nothingness. At one point, I thought he was going to black out on me. I pulled Ron over to our window. I quietly opened the window and looked down at the grass, 2 stories below my current position. Ron was still in a different world, as if he was blocking himself out from reality, leaving the responsibility to me. I tried not to pay much attention to him and instead focused on escaping. I took Ron's phone out of his hand as he crouched on the carpet. He had installed one of those apps where specific fingerprints can enter the phone. I took his hand, which was shockingly freezing, and held his index finger on the phone screen. I jumped out of my skin when the phone let out a loud beep, and all of a sudden, I could hear footsteps running straight to the bedroom door. I quickly typed in 911 and put one leg out of the window. I heard loud banging on the bedroom door.
You're doing the right thing. Jump out of the bedroom window and call the police. Amazing. Except you're the 3rd story, right? Or they're a high story. They're definitely not the 1st story. They're definitely not the 2nd story. There could be the 3rd, they could be the 4th, I don't know, but don't jump out of a window. Unless you've got something right below you. But loud banging on the door is pretty scary. I'd be scared.
And shouting,
"I'm going to kill you."
I landed on the porch roof and shouted at Ron to snap back into action. Ron stood up quickly and stumbled outside of the window. He landed on the roof beside me as I forced the window shut again. "We need to jump," I said. I could hear faint thumping behind the walls. The intruder was struggling to get inside our room. I jumped off the porch roof and sprained my ankle. Ron was wobbling on the edge of the roof. "Quick," I said. I avoided shouting as whoever the intruder was would have known that we were outside. Ron touched his chest, head, right shoulder, and left shoulder, making a cross before he jumped. We were a good 6 blocks away before I realized that I had left my dog behind. I burst into tears from fear.
Yeah, that's right. Care about your dog. I would have done that the same, because if I left Bug behind in any situation, I would be freaking out. Literally. That dog's dead. Oh, I feel so bad. That actually made me freak out because I love dogs. I love any animals.
of what just happened and worrying if my dog was hurt. I talked to the police operator as both me and Ron slowly walked back to the house. We heard sirens and I felt a weight lift off our shoulders. As we approached our house, we noticed that the police were now outside.
Okay, this is scary. I don't even think I want to finish this.
Me and Ron hid beside our porch. Both of us were waiting to come face to face with the intruder. 4 cops came out, but there was no man, and one of them was holding my dog Lewis. I hugged him and apologized to him for leaving him behind.
The dog is okay. That's a lifesaver.
The cops explained that there was no one inside, and there was nothing stolen either. In fact, they explained that there was nothing to even prove that someone had invaded our property. They never found him. Ron installed some CCTV cameras in both of our houses, but I can assure you, I haven't had a good night's sleep since.
So I just downloaded the free browser extension Honey, and I'm gonna see how much money I can save with it in 24 hours. First,
I actually got scared. On a scale of 1 to poop your pants, I say about a 9 probably an 8.5, because the only thing that really made that scary was that they left the dog behind, and I don't like when I hear banging on the door. Oh, that's scary. Actually, I've had that happen to me one time, guys. Oh, let me know in the comment section what you rated that one. Alright, our next one is true online dating horror story. No one want to hear about your online dating horror story. No one wants to hear about online dating, guys. This sounds scary already. Just this music is scary. You can see I'm dying back here.
I posted this in a comment in another post, and another user suggested I share it here. So why not? So I've been on Grindr for about 10 years, 5 of which were legal. I'm not proud of it, and had plenty of messed up experiences. This one in particular reminds me of when I was at a party without my car. I was 19 in college, and my phone was at 10%, but a decently hot Grindr guy said he could pick me up, and we could hang out at his place before he drove me home. So of course,
Okay, this woman's is hitchhiking. Or whatever it's called, I don't know. But that's kind of scary. You don't take any rides from strangers, kid. This is one that you can actually learn a lesson from. Alright, guys? So listen carefully to this one. I'll try not to stop as much in this.
Of course I jumped on the opportunity. Anyway, we got to his place, and he got me pretty drunk, which isn't usual for me, but never tried to make a move. I assumed he was gonna wait and just convinced me to stay the night later on. Finally my phone died after about 2 hours. The last 1% lasted a lot longer than the rest. And I didn't
That is already scary. You don't go to a stranger's house if you can't charge your phone. It's scary.
even have to say anything before he noticed it was dead. Then he stood up and was like, "Well, let's go to the car then." When I asked him if he had a charger that I could use, he just said, "No." After we got in the car, he got kind of quiet and less flirty, and I spaced out, just enjoying his music and looking out the window. I didn't even notice that he never asked me where I lived, till I realized we'd been driving for over an hour. Not even towards my town, but into the canyons of Greater Salt Lake City. I asked him where we were going, and he just said,
Okay, guys. What's that red stuff in the tire? Is that blood? I don't know. This guy's sketchy. I don't know what's going on here yet. Do you guys?
thought we could just go for a drive. And my drunk was like, "Oh, okay." So anyway, to make a
Whoa! That was some swearing there, but...
long story shorter, He ended up taking us about 4 or 5 miles down a dirt road with no signs or houses until it dead-ended into this cabin with no lights on or cars outside. And he just parked and turned off his car. That's when the dread started to creep in as I sobered up.
I'm a serious gamer.
Guy on your left, watch out, watch out!
But I don't play games with my money. That's why I shop online with Honey. Honey scans the web for promo codes and applies them for you so you don't have to.
I said I drank too much and I should probably head home, but he didn't even respond. He just sat there staring at the cabin. Then he was like, "You said you like to be kinky. You're pretty submissive, correct?"
Sorry, that's creepy. Sorry about that. Jeez, pausing moment.
And I was like, sure, but I just meant like normal rough kind of stuff. Nothing wild. And he started to sound a little annoyed, and his sentences seemed a little less carefully worded, like he was spitting out the bare minimum effort in each thought. He said something about some of his favorite people are those who can find pleasure in pain, and if someone goes into shock enough times, eventually it becomes a drug, and they crave it more. And then something about pushing a person into the deep end is the fastest way to teach them how to swim. At that point I was scared enough to assert myself, and said firmly,
That's actually not in the deep end, but my mom threw into the deep end.
"Okay, well that sounds fun, but just not tonight. I just want to go home now. This place is creepy." And he just sighed and gripped his keys tighter. Then right as I glanced at his phone sitting in the cup holder, right before it occurred to me to grab it, he snatches it up so fast and held it in his left hand, kind of like behind his head, making it clear that I wasn't going to go near it. I made this kind of, "what?" sound, and he just gave me this almost, "I'm proud of you, son," half smile, like dads do when they pat your shoulder or something. It was quiet, and he kept looking me up and down for a minute or so. Then got a little bit more gruff and said, "Let's go inside. I have these friends you'll really like once you meet them. You'll feel a lot better," or something to that extent. But he wasn't even trying to sound genuine or comforting like he had been doing so well earlier that night. Finally I lied and spoke up a bit and told him, "I told my roommates and my friends I was meeting up with you before you picked me up. I sent screenshots of your face and some of the convo. They're gonna freak out if I don't charge my phone and reply to them in the next few hours." I try not to make it sound accusatory, but more like I was just worried that my friends would go crazy. But it was clear he knew what I was implying. At that point, he let out an exasperated, grunty sigh and started the car and we drove away. He kept his headlights off all the way back down the dirt road for some reason. Driving back, I got nervous about him stalking me or coming after me in the
Okay, I would have said, yes, okay, let's go inside. Then let him get out of the car first. Jump over into his seat. Drive home. It's that simple, lady.
future. So I tried to apologize and tell him I was down to hang out another time. But tonight was just not feeling great for me. Blah, blah, blah. He didn't say a single word to me the whole drive back. He didn't ask me where I lived, and I didn't intend to tell him either. But he dropped me off at a McDonald's about 40 miles away from my apartment. And when I was stepping out, he suddenly leaned over and gave me a hard shove, so I almost fell out the rest of the way. He grabbed my backpack off the floor and flung it out his window across the parking lot and peeled out with the passenger door still open. He broke my laptop and cracked my phone, and I had to ask a stranger to use their charger and call an Uber. But at this point, I was just so anxious to get home, I didn't really give a crap. What's so weird is how, while this was happening, even though I was terrified, I guess I wasn't thinking about exactly what he was planning to do with me. I just knew I needed to get away. So it wasn't until I got home and got in the shower that I realized how messed up it was, and what might have happened if I let him walk me into the cabin. I remember just being so shaken and smacked by the reality of it. Almost felt like a panic attack. So I sat down in the shower, with my head between my knees, and cried till the water ran cold, and I got out and woke up my roommate. I told him about it, and he kinda calmed me down. So while I still have a Grindr account, I really just use it for an ego boost. I'm reluctant to meet up with anyone from it now. Anyway, girls and guys, I suppose the moral of the story is, we
Get closer.
That still works.
Still works. Still works.
Yeah, I don't need a new one yet.
Okay, new phone. Just need a promo code. Shouldn't be too hard to find.
We gotta be careful.
Sorry guys, I need to go back there. I missed it.
And he kind of calmed me down. So while I still have a Grindr account, I really just use it for an ego boost. I'm reluctant to meet up with anyone from it now. Anyway, girls and guys, I suppose the moral of the story is, we gotta be careful.
Sorry guys, I keep missing that little piece there.
We gotta be careful.
Alright, so the moral of the story is we gotta be careful. No, I don't think that's the moral of the story. The moral of the story is do not go home with strangers unless you've known him or her since you were for at least 2 months, maybe 1. I don't know. Oh, but that girl, jeez. Oh, that's that wasn't as scary though. But on a scale of 1 to poop your pants, I rate it a 6 probably. It's probably the best I could rate. Let me know in the comment section below what you rated this one. Alright, my next one is Deep Web Horror Story. I feel like I've heard of this one. It's a pretty famous horror story. Watch till the end. Don't you think that's a little sketchy? Just that music.
I don't know what had me fooling around with illegal stuff like the deep web. But I heard that it was a place where stuff the normal internet didn't have was stored
Just that music in the beginning was scary.
and viewed. Immediately I got interested and asked my friend how I may access the deep web. He wrote me down the instructions. After a while, I decided it was time to go home. When I got home, I looked at the card he wrote the instructions on. It said I needed a browser called Tor to access it.
Okay guys, never download the deep web, never look on it. It's got some creepy stuff on it, okay? Please don't do it. Don't get any ideas from this.
Needless to say, I got the search engine and read on. Next, it said I needed to find a page called Hidden Wiki. After a while of searching, I found it. I saw a bunch of nameless
Wait guys, let me find it again.
wiki. After a while,
Guys, that thing right there, one of the posters, remember it? Huh, jeez, I remember that poster. That's because
of searching, I found it. I saw a bunch of nameless links.
okay, this is already scaring me. Okay guys, who would go on the deep web? I don't understand it. What's the fun of the deep web?
In the Hidden Wiki, links are given without a name or description. People can only find out what's inside a link by clicking on it. After numerous sites filled with child porn, drugs, and hitman for hire, I came across a link I have yet to discover. I click on it to see a video. I pressed play. I saw nothing but a wall. I stared at it for a few minutes. Just as I was about to exit, something was emerging through the wall. I waited and watched longer.
That face right there. Red eyes. Oh, I can't look at that.
To discover it was a man with a mask.
Can you guys stare at this? Is it just me?
Hey there, he said. Thinking this was a prank video, I just kept watching. After a while of me just staring at the screen, he began to speak again. Aren't you going to speak? He asked. I proceeded to type on the keyboard. Not the keyboard. Speak, he said. At this point, I was a bit frightened. Who are you? I asked. I'm your friend, he proceeded to say. At this point, I'm scared. My face is full of terror. I begin to start showing my fright. Come on, friend. Don't give me that scared face, he said.
Does this guy ever brush his teeth?
This is when I got extremely frightened. Just 1 second, my friend. I will get your address so I can talk to you in real life. He proceeded to type on his computer. Frantic, I tried to close the window down and get out of the video. That won't work, he said. Before he had time to track my address, I got a screwdriver, removed the back and battery from my laptop. It's been some time now, and he hasn't come. He didn't have enough time to get my address. Or did he?
Okay, guys, I have nightmares a lot. I've been having clown nightmares because I get creeped out by them. I don't know if you do, but I do. This is just gonna give me more nightmares. And after all of this, all I realize is he doesn't brush his teeth. Okay, guys, so don't get any ideas from this video and this one. Oh, Jesus, this is scary. Okay, let's continue on.
Guess I'll order something. Oh, this looks good. A little pricey though. Just need a promo code.
Okay, guys, what did you rate that one on a scale of 1 to poop your pants? I say that's like about like a 4. I do tend to get scared very easily, but that wasn't that scary. Why is the sky glitching? Okay, narrated by I can't watch this already. The narrator of this is by Nightmare Narrative. I can't watch this already. It's already scary. We haven't even gotten into the video.
It was late December in a small Texas town. We just received 5 inches of snow earlier in the day. I can't remember what time it was. All I remember is that it was dark out and I was playing in my room. It's important to note that my room was made up of 2 rooms, a mud room with a door leading to out front, then my actual bedroom. The door was an older style wood door with all the old hardware and had a window on the top half.
guys. Sorry. So obviously, the story is leading up on somebody tries to break in through that wood door. You have to point all that material on that. You couldn't point it on the other door or your bed.
It had a window shade, but that wouldn't stop anyone from looking in if they wanted. My room was the frontmost, with my parents' room being in the back of the house. I was in my mudroom, playing with my Hot Wheels when I felt something weird, like someone was watching me. I was facing the door at this point and looked right up at the window.
I'm scared. This might be a 10 out of 10, I don't know.
I was trying to focus on the little openings left by the window shade. I stared, looking for any reason to feel unsafe and run. After a while, I was sure.
Okay, this is scary.
A few minutes later,
Okay, this is very scary, guys. This is weird.
I got the feeling again. This time, I didn't look at the door, but instead moved to where my back was now to the door. I was just hoping that it was all in my head. Just then, the most terrifying thing happened. There was a noise at the door, like the doorknob had been touched. I was still turned around, back facing the door. I was completely frozen at the metal on metal sound of the doorknob. It was moving. I didn't know how or why, but it was moving, slowly turning, testing the lock. I wanted to move, but I was frozen. It was like someone glued every joint in my body. My chest felt like a car was.
Alright, that's actually really good. Do not move when somebody's watching you, or else they know that somebody's in there. But except if they do look through the window, he's a small kid. If they look through the window, they won't be able to see if you duck down. Go turn off the light, kid, and you'll be safe.
On it. My parents had been in the shower all the way at the back of the house, leaving me at the front all alone, with the only room lit up being mine. Suddenly, the knob was not being gently moved, someone was turning it with force. This door was one that had to be locked with a skeleton key, so the knob could turn and open freely. Luckily, there was 2 deadbolts. Whoever was on the other side just figured out the knob was free to open. As soon as I heard the knob turn all the way, I sprung up to the door about 5 feet, my back to the wall. The door fell silent. I found myself glued to the wall, unable to move. Then the knob turned slowly. I remember watching, waiting for it to turn all the way. When it did, whoever was on the other side started trying to budge the door and pry at it. First, it was easy going, but then they started pounding into the door with their foot. They got.
You should feel my heart beating right now. Whew. I don't think I can watch anymore after this one.
Only 2 kicks in when I unfroze and screamed for my life. I sprinted to the back of the house to get my parents. They asked what was wrong, and I said someone tried to break in. They ran and checked, not bothering to look outside, which
I'm scared.
pleaded them to go check outside. They just said my imagination was.
Guys, please, this is not good. I'm freaking out here. I don't know about you, but like I don't do good with these. This is why I'm good at reacting like to these videos.
Running wild, and it was with an animal or the old age of the house. They took one final look in my mudroom, not bothering to investigate any further. I was told to go to bed. It took me hours. I don't even remember falling asleep. All I remember is staring at the door from my bed, never taking my eyes off the doorknob. Suddenly, I was woken up by my parents, who were obviously distressed and seemed to be scared. My mom grabbed me by both shoulders and got right in front of me. She asked me very sternly why I thought someone tried to break in. When I told them this time, they seemed to listen. I was worried how serious they were as they asked me about everything. When I was done, they said they had to show me something. They took me to the front door and out to the front yard, and pointed to my door near the driveway. You could clearly see the boot prints in the snow, walking along the street through our yard, and straight to my window, then my mudroom door, where I had been playing the night prior. The police showed up and took a report, but nothing ever came of it. I was never able to sleep well in that house. I can never forget what it felt like as a child to go through this, and to not have my parents believe me. I'm just glad I was not home alone, and very thankful for those deadbolts.
Great way to end it. Yeah. That video. Alright guys, I'm pretty sure this is the last one that we will be watching. I don't know. I think it is. So I hope this one's scary, but that video, I actually honestly would rate it a 10. I would rate it 1 to poop your pants. I gotta poop my pants, guys. I gotta go. I gotta poop my pants, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm back. I'm kidding. I just opened the door. Alright guys, you ready for our next video? I'm ready.
This story was narrated by Nightmare Narrative. He has awesome content including scary stories, compilations and scary adventures, so show him some love by subscribing to him. And also we started a new YouTube channel called Dark Ace Narrative, so check out our channel. Links are in.
What is an easy, affordable, but powerful video editor? So, you're fine.
Alright.
Links are in the description below.
What did you guys rate the last one? I forgot to ask you that, but what did you guys rate the last one? And now I'm scared to watch this one because I just rated that a poop to pants. Alright guys, let's get on to this one. I'm scared, guys. Hope you are too. I just forgot. Oh no. Don't watch this before bed. Why am I saying this now? But remember, never watch these before bed because they are very scary. Actually, I watched it before bed and it had a clown in it, and that's when I started to have clown dreams. I mean, my friend being kidnapped. Yeah. I guess let's get on into this. Why do all these narratives have weird names? And I think this guy was the guy in the poster.
I was 24 years old when this happened and had recently started my first job as an Uber driver. Being an Uber driver was easy for the most part, but you'd eventually get to a point where you were tired of constantly picking up people and putting a fortune's worth of gas in your car. It would have been great if Uber paid for the driver's expenses, but we were independent contractors under their platform, so we had to pay for gas. The pay was okay for the most part, but you might as well consider Uber as a side job to
Okay, is this guy scared or what?
earn a little extra cash on the side. I'd mainly do Uber during the night as I'm a full-time college student with bills to pay, so it wasn't all fun and games. Anyway, I
Change your job if you're that frustrated, man. Be smart like I am.
constantly be picking up people everywhere in my city. I've picked up motorists, people from parties or nightclubs, and you'd sometimes get your occasional creeps who'd stare at you for no apparent reason. However, there was this one woman who I picked up that really gave me second thoughts about working for Uber. It was a Wednesday, I believe, and I was
This is why you're not an Uber driver at night. I mean, before dark, it's fun, but once you hit dark, I'm no more.
driving around waiting for someone to request me for a ride. A few minutes went by and I got a notification from Uber letting me know that someone had requested me. Eventually pulled up to a woman who looked to be in her mid-30s. Just by looking at her, I could tell that something seemed off about her. She wore some jeans and had a black t-shirt that had holes all over it. Her hair was a mess and I could make out what looked to be faint marks on her. She went over to my car and asked in a soft tone if I was her Uber driver. I told her yes and to hop in the back. As soon as she did, she kept on giving me this stare as if she seemed upset about something. Like I said before, you'd occasionally have some creeps, so in my mind, I thought she was one of them.
I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm literally shaking right now. I can't stop shaking. I'm freaking out. I'm not too good with these, but I am good at reacting to them.
She told me the address and we went on our way. I then began to notice that she kept looking around my car for no apparent reason, as if she were looking for something. I keep all of my valuables with me at all times, and the valuables that I do have in the car were all kept safe in the glove compartment. She kept looking around while fidgeting with her fingers, like she was anxious. Whenever I'd asked if she was okay, she'd immediately stop and raise her voice to tell me that everything was fine.
Okay, guys, don't raise your voice at an Uber driver who's doing you a favor. Favor. I can't talk today.
Not in a rude way, just a formal way. Out of nowhere, she kept on saying things to herself, repeating them over and over again.
Saying things to herself, repeating them. How would you hear them if she's saying them to herself? Are you eavesdropping on her, man? Get out of the car. Or you can tell her to get out of the car. Either one's fine.
I assumed that she had some sort of mental disorder, so I tried to be respectful and mind my own business. But that all changed when she started screaming at the top of her lungs. She began hitting me, grabbing my shirt, trying to scratch me, and doing anything she...
Is she screaming because she's mad at him, or because she's getting killed?
...could to cause harm to me. I told her that she was done and ordered her to get out of my car before I called the police. She started to cry and sob and began to apologize, telling me not to kick her out. Even though I felt somewhat bad, I still couldn't chance it because I knew that she was going to end up doing it again. She got out of my car and I sped off and reported the incident to Uber, and I don't know what they did after that. All I could say is, that woman is mentally insane.
If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit subscribe.
Alright guys, that about wraps up this video, but I actually hit that a good old 7. That about wraps up this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed me reacting to this, even though I am a scaredy pants. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe. I love you guys. I love making videos for you. And in this time, I'm personally trying to make a lot of videos, and I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos. So you guys should, I bet you guys are too. And if you're not, what's up with you guys? Alright, start watching a lot of YouTube videos. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I would love to see your opinion on what you guys would like me to do in some more videos, what you guys would like to see me react to. I would love to see you guys' opinions, so you can comment down below. If the comment section is turned on in this video, please do that. I'm begging for more opinions. And I'm saying this in a lot of my videos, please come visit us on this channel on Easter, because I am making a video that will be uploaded on Easter. It'll be with my whole family except for our dog. He might come in a little bit. I'm hand making some eggs. And at the end of one of my videos that I made, I showed you the different eggs that I will be making, and my whole family will be in it. You'll get to meet my parents. You've already met my brother, but you'd get to meet all of them, and I would love it if you guys came. Please come, and I'll see you there. And guys, social distance. We need to get this thing out, because I personally miss school. Alright guys, signing off. Bye.